Community Development and Engineering Department vehicle replacement with Mary Harrington, our new town engineer, and Josh Cartuso, the Director of Community Development. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Supervisor. So, yeah, we come to the board today to have a conversation and discussion about planning for replacement of some of our fleet vehicles. As outlined in the memo that was provided to the board members, we've been increasing repair costs with our aging fleet of vehicles. And unlike a lot of other town departments, we haven't historically had a replacement plan or cycle of retiring vehicles and obtaining new ones. From the preliminary research and conversations I've had with some other municipalities and town department heads, there's a strategy that they usually use to obtain new vehicles under state contract pricing at a significant discount from MSRP. And then essentially they use those vehicles for 2 to 3 years, bring them to auction, and generally recoup anywhere from 70 to 85% of the original cost, and then they apply that towards a new vehicle, with the intent being to really limit the budget for auto maintenance and repairs, and consistently provide reliable and safe vehicles for our employees. I've outlined in the memo that was provided in your packets a couple specific instances that have occurred in the past year or so with some of our staff's vehicles. One being last summer, the animal control truck. The officer went to use the turn signal, and apparently it had fallen off the steering column, created a bunch of warning lights and electrical issues. And we ended up having that truck in the repair shop for over 3 months due to waiting on parts. I'm sure COVID played a role in that, but it forced the animal control officer to use one of our other vehicles that wasn't currently being used. And he was picking up animals and putting them in the back of the sedan, which isn't ideal. So, we've since had that vehicle replaced. We've invested about $3,500 to have a variety of issues fixed. But in the coming years, if you take a look at the larger spreadsheet that shows the entire town vehicle inventory, you'll probably notice that ours has among some of the oldest vehicles on there. And although they may not have all of them have high mileage, some of them are beginning to rust out. As I mentioned, we were noticing increased repairs and frequency of needed repairs and maintenance. So we kind of wanted to just make the board aware. I was looking in the budget. The previous DPW commissioner had begun a practice of attempting to budget for one vehicle per year to replace. So there was a new vehicle purchased in 2017. There was an additional new vehicle purchased in 2018. In 2019, there was money budgeted for the replacement of another vehicle. However, that never occurred. And my understanding is that money then was just put back into the general fund. So the current 2021 budget, I don't believe, has any money budgeted for vehicle replacement at this time, but it is something that we will likely pursue in this upcoming budget cycle. I had conversations with the finance director, and he does seem to think that there is potential for some funds that could be used for this purpose. So with that, you know, we're still exploring what's better in terms of outright purchase versus leasing. I guess some of the leasing companies now have programs geared towards fleet vehicles, not your average, you know, low mileage lease, and you're charged for any, you know, minor damage or overage of mileage. There are lease programs designed for fleet, you know, municipalities and companies with fleet vehicles. So I guess we'd like to explore both options and see which one would be most cost effective for the town. And yeah, and I'll just also add that a lot of these trucks have lived a hard life. They're often on construction sites and traveling, you know, off-road. So a lot of them are retired. They're not necessarily equipped with modern safety features such as backup alarms and backup cameras. And again, whenever one of these vehicles goes down, it's a major inconvenience for our operation. So with that, I'd be happy to address any questions or comments you have. Yes, Barry?
In this printout right here, this section,
Yes.
when you get to the end, it says last oil change and it says year 2017. Last oil change, does that mean only 3 of all of these vehicles have had an oil change?
No.
Okay, 2017, what does that mean?
Okay, so the column that says 2017, that is the mileage that those vehicles had on them back in 2017.
In that year, okay.
Not anything associated with the oil change. I had requested, or I had tried to gather information from records in our office to see when the oil changes occurred last, and I was unable to find that information for all of the vehicles. But yes, definitely don't think that they haven't had their oil changed in 4 years.
I have a question to everyone. We have a police department that has several vehicles that are maintained by someone other than us. And I'm embarrassed, I don't know exactly where they do it. It's something I should know. But they get them washed and they get the oil changed and they're maintained at different places. Is there something that we could do to get our town hall vehicles involved in the same situation?
Yeah, they buy the, I picked up on this when I was doing the bills. They purchased 100 car wash tickets from Royal Car Wash. And so I talked to the chief about that. Would it be less expensive to pay the $12 a month fee at Royal or buy the tickets? But that's where they're getting, I don't know where they get serviced, but that's where they're getting cleaned.
Well, they've had them serviced in a couple of different places, and I'm not certain where they're getting it done right now. Do you know, Patty?
I don't. I know that I like you, I feel like I should. I see it when I do bill pay,
Yeah, me too.
but it doesn't come to mind right away where it is.
And it's changed over the years from place to place.
Yeah, it's not always the same.
According to what they charge for an oil change. My suggestion
Bob
is,
Slide do something to that,
well, Bob was the one that would transport them back and forth.
Oh,
He was the one that would take them to get service. But they had Henderson did it. I think the Goodrich place did it. Goodyear place did it for a while.
I see a lot of articles, but I think those are bigger.
The Barth, I'm not certain.
Mark does the towing.
Towing.
Well, I've seen repairs.
Yeah, you may have.
Yeah, we do have an account with Barth and Henderson Ford, as most of our vehicles are Fords. So we have used both of those places in the past for emergency repairs. But I think what you're speaking to is a more routine
Right.
process.
Something that would tell Josh it takes time for an oil change rather than looking at the little sticker. Especially when there's a whole bunch of different people driving different vehicles. When you have more than one person driving a vehicle, that doesn't always get picked up.
Right.
I have a question regarding, let me first say, I'm I'm a proponent of rotating vehicles. I have been for years. So you're gonna come up with a list of vehicles and a budget. My question is related to the 2017, 2018, and 2016 vehicles. That giving a 3-year rotation plan, if that's what we're talking about, would those vehicles be going to auction? Or would you put some of the older vehicles through auction first? Or you're not there yet?
We're not quite there yet. My initial thought was to address the oldest vehicles that are in most need of upgrades and repairs. At this point, obviously, the return we can get for those is minimal at this point. But you bring up a good point. The fairly newer vehicles we have acquired over the past 4 years are still in relatively good shape with low mileage. So there might be benefit to considering doing that. My initial thought, again, was to tackle the oldest ones first. But
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. Sending the old ones through first. I just don't want you to lose sight of the fact that if you're putting a rotation plan together, these vehicles are due to go to auction.
right.
Right, so when you're doing your plan, you come up with your budget, what do you think these vehicles, based upon history, 85, 70, 85%, have to be part of your budgetary plan?
And you have to prioritize those.
Yeah.
Because you might have an older vehicle that's in better shape than a newer vehicle.
Right.
And the one thing that you were talking about, taking them to the auction and buying off the state contract, Highway did that for years. And they've stopped doing that. And I'm not certain why. But we used to buy a pickup truck for, back in my day, $24,000 and drive it 2 years and take it to the auction and get $21,000 for it. They haven't done that in a long time, and I'm not certain why. I don't know if it's unavailable to them anymore or what the deal is. But we used to deal with Roy Teetsworth Company, and we would sell our vehicles and whatever we purchased, whatever we were taking to auction. There's a municipal auction in the town of Palmyra. It's probably this weekend. It's usually the weekend of my birthday. And it's usually, so it could be this weekend or next weekend. I'm not certain. But that would be, it was a huge auction.
We still have that every year.
And we did really, really well there with our stuff. Everything we've ever taken, we're doing very well.
So this weekend's your birthday?
Yes.
39. Quick question, Barry, because it came up in the last week or so. Did the highway department ever service any other departments' automobiles?
Long ago.
Okay.
Long ago.
Okay.
And we have looked into that, and the last time, and I was still working, the last time that we went into that, we did an analysis, and it was determined in order to do all the police cars, all the town vehicles, period, outside of highway, not including sewer, because they can do their own, that it was going to require adding an additional person and some type of expansion to the department that would include a lift and room for storage of filters and product. And Paul might even remember this, I mean, it might be that long ago. But at that time, we didn't think that it was worth the investment. Now, when building highway garage,
I get ahead of ourselves.
that might be something you might want to think about.
Well, and I know how, look, Pat Stevens said, and I can't remember the specifics in the last week or two, that somebody came over and said, can I bring my car over, a town car, to be serviced by the highway department? And he asked me, do we do that? I said, I have no idea. But I thought we should ask Barry or Joe Hirsch or whatever, but I think I didn't think we did. And he was even saying with retirements and stuff, they're down some maintenance mechanics, so
Yeah.
it would put even more pressure on the highway department if that was, you know.
Their garage maintenance staff is in good order.
Yeah.
Their mechanics, they're in good order there, but outside of that, yes, they have lost.
Right.
They've taken people that worked outdoors,
Yeah.
that were maintenance, that were MEOs and ran equipment and stuff, and two of those guys came in and replaced two of the mechanics that just retired.
Right. Yeah, yes. And I guess the last thing on this is that, you know, I realize when you look at if I had some foresight, I would have taken this Excel spreadsheet that you guys all got, and I would have pared it down to just pickup trucks and cars. Because I think some of these other department vehicles are, we're comparing apples to oranges. I mean, they're the big trucks at the highway garage, and the way you're gonna replace those and get them is a totally different kettle of fish than cars and pickup trucks.
And each, I think, in Josh's case, all the vehicles he has they're all situated so they handle certain jobs. The trucks handle truck jobs and the cars handle car jobs, for the most part.
Right, but the town hall, if you call it, inventory here, that tab from this Excel spreadsheet, those are all cars and a pickup truck or whatever.
Yes.
The other departments, you can see if you really delve in, you know, you go, oh, wow, that thing is a 1992. Well, it's potentially, that's fine because it's a big plow truck or whatever. We're comparing apples to oranges
Yeah,
and something
right.
like that. And I just wondered, and I said to Josh, you know, somewhere through this process, when it comes to cars and pickup trucks, do we take the siloed approach of the departments where they've kind of handled it on their own? Some have gone to the auction, some of it. Is there some opportunity for us to handle that in totality as a town? Is there some economies of scale there that we would get on cars and pickup trucks? I understand those big rigs that you guys have, that's a totally different.
Right, that's way different. That's
Way
not what he's
different. I don't
talking
even
about.
want to go down that path, but for your typical, you know.
I gotta say, when I looked at this, I was very surprised. I don't know why, maybe Bill can answer this too. Were you under the impression that they were in pretty good shape with their vehicles?
Well,
Because this certainly isn't in good shape.
no, and it is, the problem you had is there's no one that really oversaw the fleet rotation of the town hall vehicles.
Correct.
Someone needed to be assigned that task by the supervisor, and then that way it was washed and taken care of. Now,
It is what it is. We're moving forward and
we got to move forward, and you need to make a decision on who's going to do that task.
it is funny because, I mean.
One more thing before I go any further. Besides mileage and this and that, these vehicles all sit outside,
Yeah.
okay? And there is definitely an effect of vehicles sitting outdoors through rain and snow and everything. They age faster. They may not have any miles on them, but the cars age a lot faster.
Well, that just answered my next question of like, wow, I was surprised to see the 06 Chevy Impala has only got 56,000 miles, but you're right, it's been sitting outside for 15 years. Or whatever we got it, so.
It's 2006.
It's low mileage.
When we at the highway department, when we built cold storage buildings outside of the regular garage, we were able to move equipment that normally had to sit outside
Yeah.
because we didn't have room for it inside anywhere. Made a world of difference on the wear and tear. World of difference, even though it was cold storage. I mean, just being out of the weather.
That 06 probably only saw 10 miles a day use, maybe 15,
Yeah. Well, it's within the.
because of what was assigned.
Right. So I think there's an opportunity here, certainly minimally for the town hall fleet, but You know, I've said, it'd be interesting now that we have so much interaction now with the highway superintendent and the head of the sewer and the other departments, that there might be some synergies there to say, is there an opportunity here for us to coalesce on the cars and the pickup trucks? I don't think there is on specialty, big rig, you know.
Pat would not know, but you have two foremen down there that have been there for 20-plus years that could remember, or at least help you out with the state contract, why they got away from it.
I know.
I asked the question the last time I saw a bill for a new pickup truck, it was $85,000. And I thought, wow, why are we spending 85? Come to find out, now they're keeping them a long time. They're putting a plow on them. They're the heavy-duty loaded vehicles, but you know, there's probably 15,000 more on them than what used to be when I was working. But they don't plan on taking them to the auction. They plan on driving them for 10 years, is what I was told.
And when I was at the school district, I was in charge of the fleet there, for the school district. Not the bus fleet, but the fleet that operated and maintained the grounds and stuff. I would go to the auction with a truck every 3 years, and I'd get 2/3 of the cost of the truck when I purchased it. But in order to purchase a new vehicle, I had to find someone in the state that had put out a bid for that vehicle and purchase off that bid. Otherwise, I had to put my own bid out.
And that might be the reason OGS may not be doing that anymore.
But OGS was the entity that did the bid. You go look at,
Office of General Services.
go look up their website and you can find if they've got anything you're looking for and see how it breaks out.
They used to spec pretty much anything you can imagine when it came to vehicles and construction vehicles, and they don't anymore. Not anything, some things, but not like they used to. So what Bill said is you have to find somebody else that has a bid that's been awarded, and we are allowed to piggyback
Right.
on that.
Yeah, I found the file folder on the 2017 Malibu, and it appears that that's how the town pursued the purchase of that through OGS. So I did check out their website, and it appears that they're still doing that program.
The cars,
The cars, yeah.
I think that's what we get our police cars off of, but even that has changed.
Mary and Josh, you picked up 3 extra minutes, you picked up 8 extra minutes. The board's interested in the conversation, you get to get more than 15.
I mean, we're talking about buying vehicles, Rick could go on.
Yeah, you could, you know. I was thinking when Bill was like, the supervisor got to assign somebody, Bill seems to have a lot of knowledge. You don't want me to sign.
I don't care, I'm just saying, somebody has to take charge of it and keep track of it
Yeah.
and monitor it.
No question about it.
At least on a monthly basis.
And I would like to think there might be an opportunity to keep track of all of the town departments, cars and pickup trucks. Keeping the department heads who are informed of that, they have to, you know, but there's got to be some economy to scale of that, or buying power or
Of
something.
all of the departments that the town encompasses, the majority of them take care of their own vehicles.
I'm not
Except,
talking about maintenance,
yeah,
purchasing.
okay, just purchasing.
Lease purchasing.
Their department's probably the one that's been neglected the most.
No, that's what they're here. So,
All right, well.
thanks, Mary and Josh.
We'll continue our research and come up with a definitive plan. Feedback with everyone at that